Your guy, Tim, is on the other side.
Yeah.
To see him come back from everything he went through and have the success there, what's that mean to you, and what's it going to be like to go up against him?
Yeah, man, my dog, man, I'm so happy for him. You know, he and I get a chance to talk. We talked a lot before he went to Jacksonville and before he made the decision. And, you know, I'm just so happy for him, man. The dude's been through a lot in terms of injuries and just being an underdog. And, you know, I know he has the mindset and mentality to overlook all of that and just go out there and continue to prove himself. And that's what he did here, and that's what he did in Detroit, and now that's what he's doing in Jacksonville right now. And so to see him having the success that he's having is man, it makes me happy. You know, brings joy to me because he's a guy who deserves it. You know, at the end of the day, he deserves it, and it's gonna be cool to be able to go play against him on the other side because this was my first time playing against him with him being on the other side, and so we've had our friendly banters already going back and forth. And he said he's not talking to me the rest of the week until after the game, so we'll see how that goes.
Potential jersey?
Oh, definitely a jersey swap for sure, 1,000%.
How do you beat Bulls to that? Because they've obviously got history too. You already got it locked down.
It's already locked in. That's it. me and G gonna have to get his sent. I'm already. It's already locked in. Receiver. We got to get that. I know he gonna try to do like the whole Utes thing. I'm like, nah, bro. Nah, me and Tim tapped in already.
I know you guys are far from accomplishing all of your goals, but to have been through everything you've been through with this franchise and being able to build what you guys have right now, have you and Garrett had an opportunity just to be able to reflect on the hard times and now being able to see the fruits of your guys' labor?
A little bit. I feel like I don't want to mess up the saying or the phrase, but you know, I don't think the time to reflect is during the storm. You know, I feel like we're still going through the storm. We're still, you know, ultimately trying to get to the other side of it. And I think there'll be a time and a place for us to sit back and fully reflect. But we've had our moments where we're saying, you know, there were times at, you know, this point in the season where it's like, you know, boys are getting ready for the off season. You know, you kind of just trying to finish out the season strong and, you know, put some good stuff on film and, you know, just get ready for the off season. But to be in a position that we're in right now, you know, it's stuff that we worked our whole careers for, and you know, continuing to work to become better for ourselves and for our team, to be able to continue this. You know, this, like you said, all the accomplishments, the goals, I shall say, have not fully been tapped yet. You know, have we had some accomplishments along the way? Yes, but like I said, I don't think that during the storm is the time to stop and reflect. I think there'll be a time and a place afterwards. You know, once you know we accomplish the goals that we set out to accomplish, and we'll have a good time to laugh and everything. But me and G understand where we've come from and the things that we've overcome to be in the position that we're in right now. But we know that right now isn't the time to stop and have a, you know, little party on how far we've come so far.
Corey, how cool is it for Michael Bandy to get that touchdown and have everyone celebrate with him?
Man, I'm glad you asked me that, man. You know, I've talked a lot with, you know, different people since the game's been over, and, you know, I think that he needs, like, I don't think people fully understand. I think everybody saw us all be excited for him, but people don't fully understand, you know, his situation, his story, you know. A dude that Division II guy, I think he went undrafted. You know, he's had a journey in terms of, you know, playing in these other leagues outside of the NFL, and, you know, then being on P Squad and having a little bit of a run with the Chargers, and then coming here and, you know, being P Squad and being up, you know, a couple games here and there over the course of the time that he's been here. And the guy works his butt off, man. I think if you ask anybody in this building, offense, defense, special teams, whatever it may be, the dude comes to work every day with a smile on his face, ready to work, and he gives our defense a great look when he's doing scout team work. And, you know, anytime he gets the opportunity to be up, he's ready. He understands the whole offense, knows every single position on receiver that he can possibly be in. And he's just a great dude, man. So to see him be able to get that, I think Coach said it was something around like 350 practices or something that he's had, and, you know, that was his first touchdown. And, you know, it just is one of those things that speaks testaments to just staying true to yourself, staying true to the grind, and understanding that, you know, your story and your journey isn't the same as everybody else's, you know. in due time. God's timing is different than anything we can ever imagine, and I think that that's something that is a testament to Bandy's story. And he has so much more. The dude, like we talk about, like that's gonna be the last time that he ever does something. But to see him, get that first touchdown, man, it was so exciting, man. I think we were all so excited for him. Somebody told me after the game, they said, man, like you was more excited for Bandy touchdown than for your own touchdown. I was like, 'cause I was. I mean, the dude, like, it just, I don't know, the whole situation, man, it brings joy to my heart to be able to see somebody like him get the recognition from all the hard work that he does behind the scenes.
Last year, Brandon, I know you don't want to reflect in the middle of the storm, but how different does it feel this year to know that the division's on the horizon, you have a chance at number one, and you don't need a lot of stuff to happen. Like, you guys control that compared to other years where you're thinking about vacation or scratching and clawing to try to stay in the playoff race, or how different is it?
Yeah, I mean, shoots. It definitely brings more of a value, I guess you can say, in those years where you know that there's no playoff implications tied to the last 3 games of the season. You're literally just going out there to represent the organization to the highest level you can, to represent yourself, to represent your teammates, to play for your brother next to you. And, all of those things are things that are still, implied moving forward with the situation that we're in right now. However, you put on top of that, the reality of, us being in the position that we're in terms of the rankings and the standings and things that we've worked to be able to put ourselves into position for. I think it gives you that little bit more juice to I don't know, like stay consistent, stay neutral through everything that's going on. I think that's the biggest thing for us, is making sure that we don't become drunk of the situation of well, look what we've done, and listen to the different people who do want to give us the pat on the backs, which aren't many, which is fine, but not as they would say, not drink the Kool-Aid. You gotta just do what we've been doing. I think that we've been staying to ourselves. We've been showing up week in and week out, having great weeks of work, and then showing up on Sunday and just putting that on tape, and we've been able to come out successful. So I think that the biggest thing is making sure that we don't lose sight of that and understand the importance of keeping the main thing. I think that's the biggest thing.
Last one, Jeff.
You've been around the city for a while, and you know all 3 teams play well. Now that all 3 Avs, Nuggets, and you guys are at first place so late in the season, have you thought about what the magnitude is of what you're all doing and they're doing, and make the city number 1 right now in each division? Kind of how far this can go this year? Yeah,
shoes, man. It's super dope to see all 3 of us having success at the same time. I've got a chance to talk to a couple of Nuggets players, and I tell them, it's our turn to bring a parade to the city, and the Avs have won the Stanley Cup recently. The Nuggets have won the NBA Finals recently, and we unfortunately haven't had success since 2015, and so we feel it's our turn to do our part for the city in terms of keeping the winning tradition going in terms of the sports that's going on throughout the city, man. Them boys playing some great ball and great hockey, and it's exciting to be a part of. And I know people around the United States are definitely shocked that the state of Colorado bumping right now.